And welcome back to our live coverage of the 2015 Mackinac Policy Conference. I'm Christy McDonald. And as we like to do every year, we have one more agenda item, and that is really to wrap up the conference from right here on the desk. And joining me now to do that is Sandy Baruah. Of course, he's the CEO of the Detroit Regional Chamber. Sandy, it's good to see you.
Nice to be back, Christy.
And Mark Davidoff, and you are the chair of the conference this year. It's good to see you.
Thank you, the proud chair.
All right, so let's sit back and take a look at the week that was. And Sandy, give me your initial impressions of how the conference went over and really, I guess, the vibe here this week.
I think the ethos is that Michigan and Detroit have turned the corner. We have put the building blocks in place for success. We've done the heavy lifting to kind of correct the ship of state. Now we have the opportunity and obligation to build on this success. So we're really at a critical juncture. People are feeling really good about what has happened. People feel really good about the future. We're no longer kind of fixated on recreating our glorious past. We now see a positive future ahead, and that's hugely, hugely optimistic.
Mark, what were your thoughts?
Well, to me, the number one word here is engagement. And what we saw here was active leadership engagement on every topic we talked about, whether it was on the porch or on the main stage. And we've been building for that, but we have this fresh start moment, this reset opportunity, and people are energized by it, and we're going to make the most of it.
You know what I really loved about the pillars, the one pillar is cohesion. And I think that was so interesting to be able to weave together. It's not just the economy, and it's not just education, and it's not just our infrastructure. It's how it all weaves together now, Sandy.
Yeah, a couple points around cohesion. One, it's never about one thing. I mean, a lot of people say, well, what's the one thing Michigan needs to do? Well, if it was just one thing Michigan or Detroit needed to do, we wouldn't be in this situation.
We could check the box and be done.
Exactly. We need to do multiple things together. But cohesion goes more than just multiple issues. It's about how do we present ourselves as a state. And that means how's the east side and the west side and the UP and the mainland peninsula all working together and speaking with one voice. And it also means, how are we distributing economic wealth, economic growth, right? So it's not just a handful of people in certain areas that are winning and benefiting, but that everyone or more people are participating in economic growth.
And I think as we've seen in the past 2 years, and especially dealing with the city of Detroit, Mark, that we have needed, that the entire state has had to come together and say, if we have problems in one area, or even if we've got problems in school districts up in Muskegon or something, that it's a reflection on the entire state, and it's going to take all of us making those decisions. It's not just one area or another.
100%. I think we heard a number of times in the conference that the world wants Detroit to win and Michigan to win, and the world's watching, and so the world watches what we say and how we treat each other and what we do, and so weaving together this cohesive approach to solving problems as one Michigan is going to be very important for us. That's how we got this far, but we need to raise it up one more level and keep it going.
I think sometimes we talk about what's on the official agenda here at the Mackinac Policy Conference and what's the unofficial agenda. But I found this year that that there really was one agenda on and off, and you had a lot of weaving going on with job training skills and a lot of news coming out this week, Sandy.
Yeah, we did, and because I think this year we did a particularly good job, not to pat ourselves on the back, of kind of picking the right themes, because each conference can only be about a handful of things. We can't be all things to all people at every conference. So this year, especially when you saw the national news about what was happening in some urban areas, this idea of cohesion and urban revitalization was on everyone's agenda as huge. And also, the road fix, right? The roads were on the stage and in the parlor. Everyone was talking about roads at some point during this conference.
Yeah, we really did have a couple of headlines come out of here this week, Mark. What were some of the interesting conversations that you had surrounding some of those main issues?
So last night I had a dinner with about 18 people, which is about 1% of the conference attendees, and for 2 hours, it was a pretty eclectic group. We talked about the future. We talked about everything we had learned over the past few years, everything we talked about in the first 2 days of the conference, and what to do with it. And I think that the magic of this conference is the fact that on the main stage and outside, everybody's talking about engagement and taking the learnings and moving forward. And so for me, the big takeaway here is that we've got a great platform to move forward from, and people are ready to go.
I think what was also interesting is because we do have the group conversations that we had this morning talking about the road fix and also our congressional leaders, but then you have really these marquee names that come in. You have the Nate Silvers and you have the Mike Rose. What were people saying about some of the speakers, and what stood out from you from like some of the sessions, Sandy?
So, one of the feedbacks that we've been getting over the last handful of years is that people really really like. They really like it. These national speakers that we're able to bring in. We're able to bring essentially World Business Forum level speakers right here to Michigan and have kind of a Michigan's management seminar right here on an island in this incredible, unique place. And people really appreciate that. And so what we saw this year was a much higher level. The room was packed much more frequently than we normally see. Normally we see kind of spikes and valleys throughout attendance. We were kind of packed the entire time.
And what did you, go ahead,
I was
Mark.
going to say, when Doris Kearns Goodwin spoke, she wove together this amazing story of, Detroit in a transformational moment of World War II, and then fast forward to today. And by the end of her speech, there was not a dry eye in the room. She was even crying, talking about what she had learned by coming here and interacting with us. And it was a very emotional moment for everybody.
She was an amazing speaker. I sat there and I was watching this and just wrapped. She had a couple of amazing moments.
And she was an incredible delight off stage as well too. I'll just tell you, everyone here is absolutely in love with her.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the role that the governor plays up here at the conference. And really, I think, and I'm going to start with you, Mark, setting a tone.
So the governor's very engaged. We meet with the governor in advance to go over the vision and the pillars, and we get his feedback and input. And then, of course, he's active. He's on the island. He's on the stage. He's in the lobby. He is an asset to this conference, and without him, we wouldn't be able to accomplish what we're accomplishing.
How would you describe his role, Sandy?
Integral. Absolutely integral. So, quick little story. So, when the governor was running to be governor, he poo-pooed this conference, and he probably had some reason to. He's like, oh, you guys have the same conversation every year, nothing really gets done. He's gone from being a doubting Thomas to being the chief cheerleader for this conference.
He speaks all 3 days.
He speaks all 3 days. He is intimately involved in the agenda. Mark, and I just announced the to-do list. He holds us accountable. He works on the to-do list with us. We're working together on things. He wants this to be a to-do event, and we agree with him completely. So 5 years ago, we changed the format of the conference. We changed the ethos of the conference. I've been kind of building on that ever since, and it has now become one of the governor's favorite events.